Hi students, welcome to yet another session of my class. We are discussing linguistics and structure of English language. Today we are going to discuss a topic that is the Prague School. What do you mean by the Prague School? The Prague School consisted of a group of linguists who met regularly in the Czech capital Prague in the 20s and 30s. Yes, so the Prague School, it consisted of a group of linguists. They met regularly in the Czech capital Prague in the early 20s and 30s. And they met under the leadership of Count Trubetskoy, a professor from Vienna and the author of Principles of Phonology. Then, what are the ideologies of these linguists, this group of linguists? These linguists applied Saussures concepts of phonology. Yes. What are the contributions of these linguists? The Sprague linguists. The Prague linguists applied Saussures concepts of phonology. What do you mean by the Saussures concepts of phonology? How can we explain this term, Saussures concept of phonology? We all know that phonology is a branch of linguistics concerned with the systematic organization of sounds in language. Yes, phonology is a branch of linguistics, deals with the systematic study of sounds in languages. It has traditionally focused largely on the study of the systems of phonemes. What do you mean by this phoneme? It is the smallest sound unit that is called a phoneme. For example, sound p, b, k. So it has this phonology. It has traditionally focused largely on the study of the systems of phonemes in particular languages. But it may cover any linguistic analysis, either at a level beneath the word, including syllable, articulatory features, articulatory gestures, etc., or all levels of language where sound is considered to be structured for conveying linguistic meaning. So, phonology, that term is not limited to the systematic organization of sounds in language. It may cover any linguistic analysis, but the point is that cover the linguistic analysis either at a level beneath the word. That means syllable, articulatory features, articulatory gestures that other than phonemes, or all levels of language where sound is considered to be structured for conveying linguistic meaning. So we can term all these structures under the umbrella term phonology. So phonology is a branch of linguistics concerned with the systematic organization of sounds in languages. That is the study of the systems of phonemes. Other than these phonemes, it may cover any linguistic analysis that beneath the word, including syllable, articulatory features, articulatory gestures, or all levels of language where sound is considered to be structured for conveying linguistic meaning. Then, the phoneme is the smallest unit on the stratum of the signifier. Signifier, we all know that signifier, signified. That is, signifier is the word image. So, the phoneme is the smallest unit on the stratum of the signifier which can enter into constituent structures in the phonology of a given language stem. In Prague structuralism, yes, in Prague structuralism, that means this Prague school is working on two levels, mainly on the structural aspect of the language and the functional aspect of the language. So the Prague school, their ideologies are working on two levels. That is the structural aspect of language and functional aspect of language. So in Prague structuralism, the phoneme concept was elaborated by considering the phoneme as a complex phonological unit which is realized concretely in a speech sound. So, according to Prague structuralism, this phoneme concept. So, when we consider the hierarchical order of this language system the bottom one, that is the smallest, yes, sound unit is called phoneme. When we consider the hierarchical order of the language system, how can we categorize phoneme, phonology, that is phonetics, then morpheme, morphology, syntax or semantics, sentence, pragmatics, discourse, etc. So in this way, we can categorize the structures in a language system. And we consider this phoneme as the smallest sound unit of a language system normally. But according to Prague structuralism, the phoneme concept was elaborated by considering the phoneme as a complex phonological unit. It is not a simple one. It is a complex phonological unit which is realized concretely in a speech sound. For example, sounds like p and b. How can we distinguish these two sounds? We can, yes, according to Prague structuralism, these phonological units, which is realized concretely in a space sound, this unit has distinctive features that characterize it as a separate entity. Yes, Prague linguists, they emphasized that this phonological unit, that is these phonemes, this unit has distinctive features that characterize it as a separate entity. What are the distinctive features of these two sounds? For example, English phonemes p and b. These two sounds are being distinguished by the opposition of voiceless and voiced. Can you understand? Yes. One is voiceless, that is p, b. Voiceless, voiced. We can distinguish these two sounds, or we can realize these two sounds concretely in a space sound. How? That is considering its distinctive features. This unit has distinctive features that characterize it as a separate entity. Here, each sound is distinguished from others because of difference in one or more features. Then, other contrasts in phonemes occur according to the different positions occupied by them in words, whether they occur initially, medially, or finally. Let us consider one example. For example, the same phoneme p sound, voiceless p. So, how can we distinguish or according to its position in different words? That is initial position, medial position, and final position. So, the sound p in the word pin, here p is in high aspiration. Aspiration normally is a process of drawing breath. That is when we pronounce a yes sound. Yes, the inhalation and exhalation of breath, that is drawing, that process of drawing breath, that process is called aspiration. Hear that sound. We all know that there are so many categories, like, that is that distinctive features. Each sound is distinguished from other because of its distinctive features: voiceless, voiced, labial, bilabial, dental, palatal, alveolar. Yes, so many yes categories, that divisions are there existed. Here, according to its position in different words, the same sound per in pin. Here, per is in high aspiration. The same sound p in another word, that is its position is different. First is in the initial position, then pup, here it is slight aspiration. Then in the last one, puppet, here no aspiration. So according to its different positions, yes, phonemes occur according to the different positions occupied by. So we can distinguish the same sound, its other features that other contrasts in phonemes occur according to the different positions occupied them in different words. That is whether they occur initially, medially, or finally. And these phonologists also investigated the demarcation of syllable and word boundaries also. These Prague linguists, these phonologists, they also investigated the demarcation of syllable and word boundaries. Then, along with the structural, the Prague school linguists also emphasize the functional aspects of grammar. I already told you the Prague linguists, their ideas are working on two levels. That is basically on the structural aspect of language, and second one is the functional aspect. So along with the structural, the Prague school linguists also emphasize the functional aspects of grammar. For example, Matthews made statements of or relationship between the grammatical and informational part of the sentence, which was characterized as theme and rhyme respectively, grammatical and informational part of the sentence. He made statements of all relationship between the grammatical and informational part of the sentence, which was characterized as theme and rhyme respectively. A combination of the structural and functional approaches also led the Prague linguistics to consider the functions of language in literary texts. A combination of the structural and functional approaches also led the Prague linguistics to consider the functions of language in literary texts. Theme of a sentence. What do you mean by this theme? Theme of a sentence is what is being talked about. And the comment, that is rhyme or focus, is what is being said about the topic. So theme and rhyme of a sentence means theme of a sentence is what is being talked about. That is the theme of a sentence. Rhyme or focus is what is being said about the topic. So theme is also topic or background about which some information is provided. That is theme. Theme means it is it is also topic or background about which some information is provided. That is theme of a sentence. For example, Tom likes traveling. Here, what is the point? Here, give the informative. What is the informative part of this sentence? Theme. Tom likes traveling. Here, Tom. Theme is also topic or background about which some information is provided. So, Tom, that is the theme of this sentence. Then, our friends have invited us. Here, our friends. So, what is being talked about? That is theme of a sentence. And theme is often the subject of the sentence. So, Tom likes traveling. Here, the subject is Tom. What is being talked about? Our friends have invited us. Here, our friends. So, most probably, theme is often the subject of the sentence. Then, next is rhyme. Rhyme is also focus or comment. It is the destination where the presentation moves after the departure point. For example, Tom likes traveling. The next one is smoking is harmful for our health. What is the rhyme part of these sentences? Tom likes traveling. So rhyme is focus or comment. It is the destination where the presentation moves after the departure point. So Tom likes traveling. So likes traveling is the rhyme part of this sentence. It is the focus or comment, or it is the destination where the presentation moves after the departure point. So Tom likes traveling. It is likes traveling is the rhyme part. Smoking is harmful for our health. Here is harmful for our health. That is the destination part. So structurally, a rhyme usually follows theme in English normally. Structurally, a rhyme usually follows. Here in the two sentences, Tom likes traveling. Smoking is harmful. Here, first part is theme, and the second part is rhyme. That structurally rhyme usually follows theme in English. And theme rhyme relationship produce cohesion, making parts of a sentence a communicative whole. Theme rhyme relationship produce that cohesion, that unity, that meaning, that making parts of a sentence a communicative whole, a meaningful sentence. Their relationship, meaningful relationship, theme rhyme relationship that produce a meaningful communicative sentence. That is the functional aspect of a language. That is according to Praeklin. So Praeklingus, they applied Saussure's concept of phonology, and their ideas or ideologies or their rules or their concepts are working on two levels. That is, one is structural aspect of language, and second one is the functional aspect of grammar. I think all of you understand this Prague school. It is a group of linguists. Yes, they met under the leadership of Count Rubetskoy during early 30s and 20s, and they applied the Saussure concept of phonology. And what do you mean by this concept of phonology? That is the structural aspect, then the functional aspect, that is a rhyme-theme relationship. That is grammatical part of a sentence. That is a functional aspect of a language, that grammatical part of a sentence. How it become a meaningful one. I think all of you understand this topic. Prague school, the Prague school. There is a homework for you, and the homework is write a note on the Prague school and send back to me. Thank you. Have a nice day. See you again.